What we do here is go back.
Hello! How the devil are we all? I do hope we're very well. I'm extremely well. Imagine if I talk like that. Imagine if I was one of those cunts. Hello! Fun times. Thank you, Kimberly Diamond 1971, for your 24 months of Prime subbage. Much love. Yes, as the title of this particular streamy stream would suggest, we're in weird territory right now because, dear viewer, we've got only a few days until the general election. That's right, it's on Thursday. It is currently Monday. So you would expect me to be talking about serious political stuff, British stuff, right? That's what you're thinking. But no, because I wanted to do a Tankie Tuesday at some point, right? I wanted to do a Tankie Tuesday at some point about, for those who don't know, new people, I do a thing called Tankie Tuesday, which is never on a Tuesday. It's whimsical in its timing, by which I mean I don't know what the fuck I'm doing and I just fly by the seat of my pants. It could happen on any fucking day. It could even happen on a Tuesday. It could even happen on a Tuesday, which would be the ultimate switcheroo, because I said, well, why would I have it on a Tuesday when it's called Tankie Tuesday? That'd be ridiculous. The ultimate would be do it on a Tuesday, because that's the last day they're expecting it on. Boom! But it's Monday, so, you know, we're doing that instead. So, I wanted to do a Tankie Tuesday, sort of related to the general election. I thought there's got to be some like weird fucking tanky analysis of the British election, right? There's got to be some weird fucking Marxist, Leninist, Dengist, third worldist, hosierist, fucking Xi Jinping thought analysis somewhere. Some dickhead mouthing off about it, and there really isn't. There's just. They're just rather to the point of why I even do this show. One of the reasons I do it is the LARPy nature of them. They're not interested in doing actual analysis of politics as it happens around them. They want to wank off about books that were written 100 years ago, and that's it. That's literally it. If it was written in the last 70 years, they're not fucking interested. If it's politics that affects today, they're not really interested. It's infuriating. Anyway, needless to say. So yeah, that was annoying. And then I thought, well, maybe I could just do some basic shit like watch some British politics stuff, right? And I thought, oh, I'm gonna have to do that all of this fucking week. I look like I'm off to play rugby. Well, it is like a kind of generic rugby shirt thing. I don't play rugby though because I'm not a mentaloid. I do fucking love rugby to watch. I do not enjoy having my body destroyed, ripped to pieces, smashed into a pulp. Yeah. Or indeed drinking water out of someone's arse. Not water, beer. Anyway, it's a thing they do. Well, the English ones anyway. Because they're fucking cunts. Anyway, right. On the Communist Party standing some candidates, see what they're up to. I suppose we could. But yeah, so we've got a random thing instead, which looks like it could be fun. Communist Party UK election 2024. Let's have a look. Communist Party of Britain.
I'm Lorraine Douglas and I'm standing as your...
Shut up. Right. Oh God, the Communist Party of Britain. So do you remember the party that was shouted out by Dragon Lady, Wizard Bitch? They've got a YouTube channel. You know, nothing massively surprising in that. That is perfectly understandable. In fact, I would expect them to do that. What I would also expect would be for them to have slightly more than 2,500 followers. Yeah. I don't think, dear viewer, that they're starting a revolution anytime soon. I don't think they've really gotten the working class by the hold. They are not vanguarding very effectively at all. I don't know if it would be cringe enough though. I imagine the Workers' Party has the most cringe takes. Well, there's no doubt that fucking dickheads like Galloway would be, yeah. Yeah, they were shouted out by J.K. Rowling, yeah. And then they came out and said, actually, no, our position isn't the transphobic one you are assuming, Miss Rowling. Please leave us alone. Or words to that effect. Okay, we could look at CPGBML. I did look about all of this earlier today, but I just couldn't fucking find anything. Yeah. CP. What the... CPGBML. There we go. Proletarian TV. Imperialism, Parasitic and Doomed with Jyoti Bra. Vladimir Putin in the DPRK. They've literally got nothing. The CPGBML don't appear to have anything at all about the election that I can see. Nothing titled that way anyway. Oh, hang on, there is one. Here we go. Craig Murray, WPB. So that's Workers' Party of Britain. So that's not even the right fucking party, but whatever. Candidate for Blackburn 2024. Should we have a look? Maybe. Don't forget, as I'm capitalist scum, you do need to fund me financially, because I am capitalist filth, and as I participate in society, I can't criticise society, but you know, because the Bulls comic is true. It is a fact indeed. So you can hit the follow button. You can subscribe. You can subscribe with Amazon Prime. You can gift subs to the community. You can do what else can you do? Super chats via the Streamlabs link below. $2 or more, that gets you a text to speech. You can do super chats. No, I did that one. You can do bits messages. 200 bits or more gives you a text to speech. You can do, because speech is not free on this channel, except in the chat. You can chat in the chat. That's fine. I forgot what the fuck I was saying. You can help me on Patreon and or PayPal. You can go to the Discord. You can follow me on Twitter, Blue Sky. No, you can follow my friend on Twitter. I don't know who they are, but they're my friend, and it's definitely not me. On Twitter, I've got Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram, Bebo, MySpace. You get the idea. No, her name is Jyoti Bra. I don't know why. That's, yeah. Yeah, she just is. That's what she's called. Right, let's have a look at this, lad.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's wonderful to be back here in Blackburn. And I am deep...
He sounds very much like Blackburn, doesn't he? That's exactly what the people of Blackburn sound like. Let's get an actual Blackburn accent up, shall we? Here is what a Lancashire accent sounds like. Well, this is an advert for Specsavers.
In Richmond, and I just met Bernard on the path here, and he's from Blackpool. Or did you say just outside of Blackpool?
Yeah.
What's the name of the town you're from?
Gaza.
Gaza.
Yep.
And so tell me about your region and your accent. Could you just tell me which sort of accent and what region you're from?
Oh, Lancashire.
Lancashire.
Yeah.
And so would you say you have a Lancashire accent?
Yeah. Always been in Lancashire.
And why did you decide to come visit Richmond?
We've been here before, and it's just lovely around here.
Are there any...
It's just lovely around here. Good lad. Anyway, this one, clearly not though.
Deeply honoured to have been asked to stand for Parliament again here in Blackburn and Darwin, to have been asked by Blackburn's independent candidates, councillors, to be asked by the Workers' Party of Great Britain. And we are going to give
Great Britain? He's even got the posh boy big small R thing going on.
one hell of a honour at getting elected here in Blackburn. I was there in the International Court of Justice in The Hague for the genocide case between South Africa and Israel. I was present in the courtroom. There were only 14 seats in the public gallery. I had to start queuing at 2 o'clock in the morning in -7 degrees centigrade in The Hague.
Hang on, in Shipley they're standing an ex-UKIP and Brexit Party candidate for the Workers' Party. Is that true? Oh, the Workers' Party really are scum. Jesus Christ.
In February, in order to get one of those 14 seats. At 4:30 a.m., still in -7 degrees centigrade, I was joined in a queue by my...
Whatever you do, don't go to that Twitter account, because that one's gone. That one don't fucking exist no more. A person who isn't me, definitely not me, because why would it be me? It says it's definitely not me. Is that one there?
My friend Jeremy Corbyn, who also queued in the early hours of the morning in the freezing cold. And Jeremy is even older than I am.
So that
was
love it.
A feat, a real feat. And we sat there and we listened to the South Africans on the first day outline the most compelling case. Now it's true, there is nobody in the entire world who does not know that genocide is happening in Gaza. It is as plain as your face. Everybody has seen the evidence. There are people who, for political reasons, seek to deny it, but that doesn't mean...
Yeah, look at this fucking absolute goober. This piece of shit. Waqas Ali Khan. Look at this guy. So he's standing for the Workers' Party of Britain, the supposed leftoid, fucking tankoid, revolutionary LARPerino, right? He's standing for them in Shipley. There you go. Previously having stood for the Brexit Party in 2019 in Keighley and UKIP in Shipley in 2015. Amazing. Absolutely fucking incredible. It's plain as your face are saying. Well, he's got it slightly wrong. It's as plain as the nose on your face is the saying.
Stiff dick of poop.
Thank you, Cupcake Chaos, for gifting a sub to the multiple Premier League and single Champions League winner as Friends Rust. Yeah. Unbelievable. Fucking wankerino, man. Galloway's such a cunt, isn't he? Fucking hell.
They don't know it's happening. Everybody knows it's happening. And the South African lawyers, or the lawyers on behalf of South Africa, outlined in detail after detail the facts of the genocide. Over 750,000 homes destroyed. Over 10,000 children killed, more by now. The maimings, the deaths in pregnancy.
Sorry, are you describing
the killings of...
Are you describing what Israel is doing to Palestine, or what your friend Vladimir Putin is doing to Russia? Because it could be either. You see where you get when you don't have a consistent ethical line on anything, and you just go by kind of vibes.
Doctors, of aid workers, of lawyers, of university professors.
We are going to get Soviet Storm, so by the way, hello there YouTuberinos, you can hit the like button and subscribe and all that jazz. You still can't give me money though, because YouTube is shit. We'll get back to it at some point. Right. Yeah, the second half of the show we'll be watching Soviet Storm, which we know is going to get me copyright fucked on YouTube, so that I'll have to just make that a Twitch only bit.
The incredible percentage of children killed in the conflict. Approximately 40% of all the people killed by Israel have been children. That's just not normal in war. War, of course, is not normal, but that's...
War is normal. I'm sorry to say, right? Look, this isn't even a point against tankies or whatever, because usually tankies understand the necessity of war in certain situations. In fact, the one big talking point that tankies have, that there is definitely some truth to, as opposed to something else, would be the Soviet Union took on and defeated the Nazis. That was a situation in which war was thrust upon them, and they had no other recourse but to fight back, and did so effectively that they could have actually saved humanity. It's a beautiful thing. So why the fuck is this guy? War isn't normal. Yeah, it is. What are you talking about? Name a time when it wasn't happening. Name a single fucking time in human history where it wasn't happening. Somewhere, amongst some sets of people. I wish that it were. I wish that you were right. I wish it wasn't normal. I wish it didn't happen very often. I wish it never happened. But it is obviously happening now, and always is happening somewhere, so clearly it's pretty fucking normal. If something is perpetual, that's about as normal as you're gonna get. Oh, by the way, in terms of, you said the Galloway and Farage are the worst of us. To a degree, that's true. I think Galloway's wrong about a lot of shit, but I don't think he's, like, evil. I just think he's wrong about a lot of shit, and he's got, like, fucking brain worms. But he did put out this very odd, dumb thing. Hang on, where is it? No, that's not it. He put out... Oh, he's retweeting loads of shit on his fucking account. Stop being a bell end. I saw this last night. Hang on. Where is it? You absolute fucking penguin sniffer. Look how far I'm having to fucking scroll back, man. He put it up yesterday. Fucking absolute pile of fucking jizz bang. I don't know what that means. Hang on a minute. How have I managed to spell forage like that? Forage. Here we go. Shut up, you cunt. Right.
Nigel, I've been out campaigning all day, as I've no doubt you have been also. I see that you've refused to go on the BBC tomorrow with Laura Kunzberg because of the way they set you up on that question time with that rigged audience. I know about that.
Firstly, Mr. Galloway, you being an acolyte in the I don't go on the BBC is not a point in Farage's favour. And secondly, are you suggesting that they shouldn't have asked him about this? That this was in fact a rigged thing? Because you're usually like the, oh, Farage is racist guy. So are you now just like completely abandoning anti-racism at all? Under the guise of building your fucking red-brown alliance? I don't know.
They've done that to me, actually, almost 10 years ago in Hendon. You may recall it. I took on 100 people who hated me. Some say I still won. But here's my point.
Okay.
You should do a hustings with me. We are the two great disruptors of this election. When
Farage is going to get a lot of votes. You aren't. Now, he might still retain his seat. I don't fucking know. I dare say he won't, but whatever. There's no way, though, that you can describe yourself as being like Farage. Farage is going to get like 15 to 20% of the vote, mate. That's like nearly 1 in 5 people.
When they discovered how much you were disrupting it, they decided to cut you down to size, smear you, and set you up. If you and I have a hustings,
Hang on a minute, dickhead. So are you literally saying that there is no racism? That this was, in fact, an actor? A paid actor? He's just Farage then? He's just Nigel Farage at this point?
millions will watch it. I think we know that. I've just done an interview with Piers Morgan. 7 million people have watched all or part of it. Imagine Nigel Farage versus George Galloway in the great Disruptors debate.
I mean, I can't think of a more pointless fucking circle jerk of a situation. Honestly, what a pointless exercise. That isn't going to happen anyway.
Disrupting politics from one end of the political spectrum, and I'm disrupting it from the other.
Are you? Because you seem to be like quite close to him on a number of issues.
Even though they've tried to ignore me, pretend that I don't exist, we are winning seats in this general election.
Oh, of course I'd watch it. Don't get me wrong. I love right-wingers doing weird mental shit. So absolutely I would watch Galloway Farage. Of course I would. And I'd watch it with you, my dear viewers. It would be amazing content. But it's not proper politics. It's just two dickheads. But that's what I love, watching two dickheads shout at each other. It'd be wonderful. Let's go.
With extra seats if you debate me in the great Disruptors debate. Farage versus Galloway. Get back to me.
I think he's too busy trying to get elected, which, ironically, Galloway, is what you ought to be doing. You're literally the... Well, you're not technically an MP because there aren't any MPs at the moment. It's been dissolved. But you are the reigning champion of being elected for Rochdale. You are the incumbent. You really should, get to that. Anyway, enough of this. This is the thing I actually wanted to watch. Someone sent me this. Now, I have not watched this, so I don't know what this is. Okay, it's from a person called Lady Izdihar. It's called Performing Communism. And honestly, the fact that she's called this performing communist, and I don't know who this is. Honestly, it's a surprise to me. I didn't realise there were lady tankies. I didn't realise it was a thing. Tankieism has gone woke by accepting ladies now, apparently. I was promised an absolute sausage fest, and I feel very let down by the wokeness, the DEI, the tankettes. Come on now, let's not. Anyway, the fact that she's called this performing communism. Now, I'm led to believe this isn't satire. The person who sent me this said this was like a legit thing, right? It looks like satire. I mean, literally, look, she's got the weird tanky shit on her wall and stuff. Like, it's, yeah, anyway. I don't know who she is. But it looks LARPerino central right now. She's dressed like a babushka, even though she's like 25 or something, and like I don't know where she's from. But yeah, it's in English, so like I don't know. She could be from wherever. She could be Russian. I don't fucking know. Yeah, this looks, honestly, it looks bad. Already, I haven't even pressed fucking play on the motherfucker yet, and it looks atrocious. What do we reckon? LARPerino or not? Is that Popeye hugging a polar bear on the poster? No, I believe that's a man and a woman hugging. They look East Asian or something, maybe Mongolian, possibly, but maybe from one of the stands of Central Asia. I don't know. That's one of the things. If tankies wanted to be not mental and shit, they could point out the incredibly racially diverse nature of the Soviet Union. They rarely do, except to deflect from their own racism, ironically. But we'll see. Right, so I'm going to guess LARPerino. Nonsense. We'll see.
Assalamu alaikum, comrades. I want to address a topic that's been increasingly relevant within the online communist movement: the concept of performing communism.
Okay, so she sounds American straight off the bat, right? It does not say Popeye on the poster. It's look, it's in Cyrillic. I don't know what it does say, but it's not Popeye. It does look a bit like it says Popeye. It doesn't. Okay? It doesn't say that. Right. She sounds American to me. So I'm thinking, why the fuck is she dressed up like a 1950s babushka woman? It's fucking weird. That's what I was thinking, LARPerino, right? Yeah. She's a big PFLP fan. Bad Bunny shared a video of her in that stream that got her banned from Twitch. Oh, really? Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, this could be fucking mental then. I can see why the person that sent me this, and that they I don't know if they want to be identified. If they do, by all means, say so in chat. I don't know if they're around. I haven't seen their name today. But yeah, they were insistent. They said this was a good one. They said I'd enjoy this. So I'm guessing LARPerino.
What does a good communist look like? What do they do? How do they do it? What is their methodology? How do you measure how effective they are? Who are those fake communists? And so on. Perhaps much of this video will be speaking more to fellow and potential communist or leftist creators and those very involved in these online...
So already, the fact that she's gone leftists, I feel like I don't need to play kid gloves with this. I feel like I don't need to do, like... I don't need to be nice to this person, really. Not that I'm going to be intentionally mean or wrong about it. If she says some good things, I'll say so, that's fine. But I don't feel like, if you're going to talk down to people in the first 30 seconds like that, that I need to give you, like, incredible charitability. Like, no, fuck that noise.
Spaces. So please send this video to your favorite Marxist creators so they can...
The only real leftists are the Marxist, Dengist, Hoosierist, fucking... I don't know... Stalinoids. I can't be bothered going through the fucking list of stupid acronyms and fucking monikers they have for one another. It's all bollocks.
You can take a listen and contribute to this discussion. So I need to start this by addressing the criticism. As a historian whose goal is to humanize the past, the people of the Soviet Union, communists who got us here to where we are today, because of how I go...
Well, look, to be fair, and I think that's a fair question to ask. Is the headscarf a religious thing, or is it done for just purely LARPy effect on this regard? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know anything about this person. They started off with the Wassalamu alaikum, so I'm presuming they're Muslim, but that doesn't mean they necessarily would wear a headscarf normally, or whether this is part of their thing they do for their channel. But either way, there's clearly like a cultivated image. This isn't just any old headscarf. This is clearly like, and look at the dress that she has on. She's clearly doing a 50s, 60s, babushka, Soviet Union fucking cosplay bit. So like, she's, even if this is part of her religious headwear that she would wear normally, there's clearly an affectation to this as well, you know. Anyway. Also, she said as a historian, so I can't give her the charitability of saying that she's ignorant about things. If you want to say as a historian and then talk about shit, I'm going to analyse that as such.
About that and the way that I look. I frequently receive messages accusing me of not doing enough, doing things wrong, not taking strong enough ideological stances. Of course, the accusations of cosplay and LARPing. Not that LARPing's a bad thing. Cosplay and LARPing takes skill and creativity and confidence. But
so it is LARPing then. Okay. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind LARPing, that's fine. It's when you're LARPing in place of actual political activism that's the problem. If you're doing political activism and dressed a bit weird or whatever, that's fine, whatever. It's if you're dressing weird, if you're doing the kind of Jason Unruh thing, where all you do is bitch about shit on the internet whilst dressed like someone from the fucking Chinese Communist Party, like with the fucking armband in Chinese and shit. Like, if you're that person, like, fuck off, man. God damn.
there's this idea that because of those things, I'm not contributing seriously.
What degree did you do, lesbian hot sauce? I'm going to call you LHS from now on, just because it's quicker.
To the movement. A lot of that stems from a misunderstanding of what I do. And admittedly, this whole video was provoked by a particularly long comment I received yesterday. No hate to that individual. You spurred some inspiration, and you know, it was something that I receive all the time. It wasn't a unique comment. And this is an opportunity to address some of those concerns, have a serious discussion about this topic, which I feel is lacking, and really ruminate on the state of things. Let me find that comment. Okay, so here's what I received. When will you take a stance against...
Okay, let's have a look. Oh, but if she's going to read the whole thing, I don't, you know.
revisionism and talk about Marxism, getting past aesthetics. How do we form a party? This is a question not asked or answered in a single time. And
well, it says, how do we form a party in the US? So is she from the US then, I take her? I would guess so.
the history of your account. What is communist about this? If you claim to be a communist, you should provide your viewers with communist content, which...
Why? Hang on. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, home slice. Why? Why should you do that? Shut the fuck up, fucking stupid cops. Anyway, yeah, why the fuck... just because you're a communist, you don't need to even create political content at all. You could just be a communist who does, like, Super Mario speed runs. Like, do you know what I mean? Just because you claim to be a communist doesn't mean you have to do communist content at all. And especially, like, if you do some communist content, but then also do some stuff that's just, like, about a thing you're passionate about, like fucking jigsaw puzzles, I don't know. Like, that's fine as well. Why? This is the thing, it's the kind of ideological straitjacket of the kind of Stalinist mindset. That's the real problem I have, because it leads to such really bad outcomes. It sounds odd, right? But there is a mental through line between someone like this saying you can only do this certain kind of content, otherwise you aren't the right kind of communist, and literally like gulagging people for being gay. I know that sounds mental. I'm not making like a moral equivalence. Clearly there's a massive difference there. But I'm saying the same mentality, the same conformist, absolute rigid, straitjacket conformist viewpoint that this person in the comment takes is exactly why tankioid governments always end up the way they do. There's a genuine kind of pipeline from one to the other of giving it much more power and therefore having much larger impacts on a much larger group of people. The Tankie worldview leads to that place, and that's the problem. For every Tankie that's a really good person, and there are loads of people who are call themselves Marxist Leninists or whatever, who have their hearts in the right places but are just fucking mental or are just wrong basically about stuff. And the problem is they will either hunker down when the time comes to stand up and say no, or they will actually stick true to their principles and end up in the gulag with me and you, or just get shot. One of the two. That's the problem ultimately, you know. Not that you can't. It's not that you can't trust them on like an interpersonal level, but you can't trust them politically. I can't ally myself with people like that because I know that ultimately, whether they intend to or not, they will betray us. They always have and they always will because of this exact mindset. Because we're slightly different. We're a slightly different kind of leftist, Marxist, whatever thing you want to call yourself. I don't know. Anyway.
Consolidates or expands our movement. For now, you produce...
Leonid Kevnev. What the fuck? Thank you, Elliot, for bits. What are you showing me? What the fuck is... What? I'm just going to let that sit there for a second. I'm going to let everyone just absorb that with their eye holes. That's a thing you did. And then uploaded to your Google Photos account. Genius. Say something. You know what? I will say something. That's fucking mental. Boom. Done. End of.
Lowest common denominator content to get all the communists watching, not wanting to upset the Trotskyists or Maoists. This is not the way of Marx, Engels, or Lenin. Now, I did respond and it kind of went over their head. And honestly, one of the nicer comments I receive. But if you want my opinion, it might disappoint you.
What the fuck was that?
If you want my opinion, it might disappoint you.
Why did it... Hang on,
Unity among communists is more important than alienating specific subsets within our movement. Infighting and drama only serve to divide us and impede our progress. We should remember that our strength lies in our solidarity, not in tearing each other down. And I suppose I feel a bit silly saying that because look at the state of things. How many communist parties are in each of your countries? Probably a lot, and they disagree on a lot of frivolous things. New parties pop up, they come and go, all of them marred by their own different pasts and decisions, and none of them letting each other live down every mistake they've ever made.
This is fascinating. This is fascinating. A Tankie going on about like unity and stuff is really interesting. Like, cancel culture, Tankie's going on about cancel culture is very, very funny to me. Like, if gulagging people for being even a slightly different kind of communist or just being not entirely happy with everything all of the time, if that's not cancel culture, I don't know what is. If the Great Purge wasn't the ultimate cancel culture, then that term literally doesn't mean anything.
And the same could be said about individuals. Is feeding into that really what's going to make a good communist? A good movement? I don't know. Probably not.
My role as a historian.
The primary role that I choose to take on is to provide historical context. I'm not particularly here to teach Marxist theory in depth. It's not my strong suit. There are, however, countless accounts and resources out there that do provide that. My focus is on humanizing history, showcasing the everyday lives, clothing, and items that tell the story of that past. This helps.
So it's just LARPy. It's sort of LARPy, yeah. Okay. And but again, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but it is a bit cringe. Wow, look at all these weird little knickknacks from the past.
Counter stereotypes, which have reduced the history of.
How does this counter any? Hang on. Time out. How does this look cancel stereotypes? How? This literally is the when I think of person from Soviet Union, like you think babushka, you think guy in a fur Ushanka. He's called Yuri, the woman's called Yevgenia, they're from fucking Belarus, and they look like that. You can't LARP to break stereotypes. LARPing is literally embodying a stereotype when it comes to like actual lived people. You know? She's ironically, yeah, she's doing cultural Marxism. Literally.
Communism to mere caricatures of villains in popular media and beyond, which I believe is a real serious issue. There's a deep-rooted misunderstanding in what we look like, act like, what the history is. There's a bias in the telling of that history, at least in the English language, and at least one person trying to combat that specific thing is surely useful. And I do want to take this time to say, if you feel that there is something missing in the content that you consume, especially concerning theory or revisionism, I really encourage you genuinely to create your own content. We always need more voices in this. Each of us have unique strengths and insights, and it's unrealistic to expect few individuals to cover everything comprehensively. If you have a solid grasp on theory or a specific topic, you're good at articulating that, please contribute by making your own videos.
She posted a YouTube video called Come LARP With Me. Really? I don't know fucking shit about this person. Shorts? Is it shorts that I'm looking for? I can't. Wait, hang on. What do you mean? Where is this video? Come LARP with me. I don't see this. Apparently, the headscarf is a thing she wears all the time, though. I've learned from that.
Or writing articles. Your voice matters and is valuable. But let's go more into the humanizing of that history.
Under community. Ugh. Shut up. What is living history? Come LARP with me, yeah. I'm reading from an article from Soviet Russia Today in 1930s. Okay.
I need to find the best way to learn math.
She's
and
literally
science.
doing roleplay.
It's brilliant.org.
What?
Fuck off. She's literally doing a thing. It's 1943, and I'm reading you an article from Soviet Russia Today. Brackets roleplay. I suppose while they're doing this, they're not like gulagging gay people, so that's nice.
The first crack in the axis has come. The criminal, corrupt fascist regime in Italy is going to pieces. Mussolini came to a reluctant conclusion that it was up.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I just got home. Look, the new Soviet Russia Today magazine was in the mail. We should look through it. Man, look at this month's cover.
Wow, Soviet Russia Today. I wonder if the one from 1940 or 1939 when you were friends with Hitler, I wonder if that would have had a slightly different cover to it. I imagine.
Ah. Oh, look, we can send in for a map too. I was already looking through it a little bit. There's an article in here on religion. Isn't that interesting? Religion and anti-Soviet propaganda. You know what they say in the news. The godless communists, right? I guess not. Want me to read it to you?
I'm going to be honest, chaps, this is making me feel fucking uncomfortable. This is just weird.
I mean, there's so many good articles in here, but I think we should definitely start with this one. Yeah, Religion and Anti-Soviet Propaganda by Reverend William Howard Malish? They got a reverend to write it. Look.
Wow, they got a reverend to it. Well, that's okay then. Let's ignore the repression of literal Muslims in the Central European Stan countries. Let's ignore that.
Even this year we'll learn a little something. Much of the hostility which Americans have been evidencing toward the Soviet Union is cloaked in the language of religion. It can be divided into 3 distinct types. First, okay, so he's breaking it down for us. Okay, what's number 1? First, there is antagonism of those who personally care little or nothing about religion, but find in religion a convenient pretext and vehicle for anti-Soviet propaganda. This is pointed out to really religious people. They are the first to denounce it and to feel a deep...
Yeah, is this like a Tankie... I can't help but feel this is getting into the territory of like... Tankie Tradwife fetish content? Is that what this is? Is this just Tankie Tradwife stuff? Because the thing is, with the red-brown, you've got to cover both bases. So you do the red, you do the communist stuff, you read from Soviet Today. But then, there's a fascist element of it. They want a strict hierarchy here. And they want the good housewife to read them articles about religion. And then make them dinner. It's gross, whatever the fuck it is.
Resentment at such exploitation of religion by individuals whose motives are political and economic. Second, 2, there is the antagonism of certain groups who do not believe in the traditional American principle of separation of church and state. They are fundamentally opposed to the religious policy of the Soviet authorities, which is in essence the same as ours. Certainly, no religious American should allow...
Well, no, that's not really true, is it? They weren't the same. There was repression of religious groupings in a way that there weren't, by and large, let's say, in the United States. This isn't true. This is shit propaganda. You can get better propaganda than this.
Himself to be influenced in his attitude towards the Soviet Union by the denunciations and the attacks of such groups, as would disavow the traditional American policy in which he believes. Oh, this is too good. Third, man, they're really breaking it down. Third, there is the
It's certainly breaking down my will to live. Yeah, 100%.
Of those who, through sheer ignorance of the truth concerning Soviet religious policy and practice, continue to parrot old...
Hang on a minute, you can't do weird little orgasmic noises. This is too much now. Go back, hang on 1 second.
Practice.
You can't, that's coquettish now. That's just... honestly, this is just fucking... This is Tankie jizzbait. You can't do weird little moans while reading Soviet Today. Fuck off.
Continue to parrot old and outdated prejudicial statements about persecution and anti-religious activity in the Soviet Union. Fortunately, most of the Americans who express hostility to the Soviet Union on religious grounds belong to this third type. And
okay. Hello, Gay Station Vita. Who are you and what's your stances? You look like Destiny merged with H-Bomber Guy. That is unbelievably accurate and offensive. And it's offensive because it's so accurate. That, honestly, that's, you know what? Sometimes you're just going to hold your hand up and say, you might not have been even intending to burn me there, but you scorched me. I am now 3rd degree burn all over. That is outrageous. You're also British. That makes me anxious. Again, guilty on all charges, man. Fuck. Oh, absolutely ruined. Oh, I'm wrecked. It's nothing like being dissected by a rando that's just walked in. Don't know anything about me and they've absolutely fucking wrecked me. Who am I? Well, I'm Kevin Logan. Hello there. Hello, I'm a socialist from the UK, for what that's worth. I mean, you already worked that bit out, the UK bit. In terms of what my stances are, you'd have to, I suppose, ask me more of a question on that.
We got him. Victory is ours!
I am a fucking Angloid. I mean, there's no getting away from it. There's no point trying to hide it. It's too obvious. I mean, look how fucking white I am. It's ridiculous. I might be able to pass for a Norwegian, maybe. You know? I'll have to work on my accent a bit, but there we go. Thank you for following, Gay Station. Yeah, in terms of what my stances are, you'd have to be a bit more specific. That's quite a broad, like, my stance is occasionally cross-legged, because that's a different type of stance. Fucking kill me in Minecraft.
And I am happy to relate that in my own experience, such of them as I have met in public meetings have shown a ready willingness to listen to a fair presentation of the facts. Oh, well, that's good. Everyone is made more conscious of new global relationships under the pressure of wartime developments. I mean, those Soviets are certainly winning the war in Europe for us, aren't they? And this is
Okay, I mean, don't get me wrong, they certainly were, but I don't know that an American in 1943 would talk in this way. They might say, like, this is how they're helping us to win the war or whatever, but, like, a lot of other countries were making sacrifices too. Like, don't get me wrong, Soviets more than most. Well, more than any. Absolutely. 100%. But this is like, this is just weird shit propaganda. That's, like I say, it's just tanky, it's tanky cockbait. It's just tanky thirst posting. I'm still trying to work out if Brum actually counts as British. Excuse me, Brummy just saved the English football team in the 94th minute the other night, so I want none of this fucking chit chat, this gibberati. Alright? None of it. I'm an anarchist when leftists ask me, and I'm a leftist when a lib asks me, and I'm a communist when a conservative asks me. You know what? I think you'll fit in, Gay Station. That's about right, mate.
resulting in an eagerness to think things through with candor and with some cordiality. Ugh. Not always said all the words I've read out loud before. Almost invariably, the result of such discussion is a more friendly attitude and a greater measure of understanding. At this moment, I am more optimistic than I have ever been before that the religious antagonism towards the Soviet Union is on the way to being dispelled. Oh, I hope so. It just doesn't seem fair, does it? So many people there. Of course, many of them believe in God. The facts about religion in Russia are clear and...
What the fuck? This is just red-brown porn, isn't it? This is just red-brown ASMR fucking jerk material. Huh. There's so many people in the Soviet Union, and loads of them believe in God. And there's just Duganists at home absolutely ripping their cocks off. Just going fucking mental. Ropes of jism all over the fucking place. Jesus.
Straightforward. Freedom of religious worship is guaranteed by the Soviet Constitution and the Soviet government.
Right, but it wasn't enforced with anything like strictness, was it? At all.
act is ascribing its signature to the Religious Freedom Clause at the Atlantic Charter was not acting dishonestly or cynically. Religious groups in the Soviet Union today are pursuing...
What the fuck is jism? I could give you a practical demonstration. I could. It would be against terms of... It's ejaculate. Spunk. Come. That sort of thing.
their life of faith and worship without interference and without crippling restraints. It is true that the sphere of church activities is circumscribed to the nature of a socialist society, and that such a society has taken over many of the philanthropic and educational functions which have hitherto been associated with religious institutions.
See, this, hang on now, because she claims to be a historian, so she's an academic, right? Who doesn't know how to say hitherto. So is she natural born American, or is English like a second language to her? Because you can't always even tell by accent. You can't even always tell by accent, can you? Because it's like Gabriele Marcotti, the Italian football journalist, who speaks, when he speaks in English, with like a really thick Italian American accent, because he learned initially to speak English through like watching American TV shows and American films. So when he speaks English, he speaks it in like a almost like native sounding, not native American, like a person born in America would sound when they speak English. But he's Italian. Yeah. So you can't even always tell. She lives in Seattle and is apparently Romanian and Serbian. Okay, well that would make sense, I guess. Also, if she's in Seattle, I presume she goes to the Lenin statue. There's literally a Lenin statue in Seattle, did you know? Fucking mental.
That is, hospitals, orphanages, homes for the aged, school, and the like. Surely, religious Americans...
Yeah, like I say, there's a kind of like... She's doing like almost like a kind of simple schoolgirl caricature porn character thing. Yeah. Oh, I'm just a simple girl. I don't even know what some of these words mean. Teach me, O wise one. Tell me all about what Marx said. We might have nothing to lose but our chains, but I like being tied up.
Not object if the country desires at public expense to make available to all the people the same social services which in other lands and churches have pioneered at private expense. Ought we not acknowledge that as an extension of the moral and social principles of religion? We Americans have always been suspicious of anything that is different from our own way of doing things. Oh, here in the United
Don't do little orgasm noises. It's fucking weird. Oh.
States, religion is not only free, but actually it is afforded preferential treatment in respect to taxation and certain privileges granted to religious institutions and to the clergy. This preferential treatment is the result of a long history of the services to American society which the churches and religious institutions have been rendering. It didn't just happen. It was earned, and we of the churches know that it can be forfeited if we lose the perspective of our true spiritual and ethical function. In the Soviet Union, where contrary to our American experience, there has been a tragic history of disservice to the people on the... Oh, it's continued on page 34.
Stop it.
Let me find it.
Okay. Thank you, Executioner. What a weird time to resubscribe. Honestly, it doesn't speak well to your character. I'm only playing. Hello there, Egg. 37 months with Prime. Much fucking love, man. Love it! We might need to do a bit more of a deep dive on this one, because she's a special person.
54? Ah, yes, here it is. Okay.
Lady Izdihar.
So,
the service to the people on the part... on the
Lord
part
Frites
of...
donated $3. After the Tradwife,
Discover the new online unhinged stereotype for women, the Leningrad wife. Despunkify Tavarik.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Tradwifeski. Love it.
Of the churches in
Thank you, Lord Fritos. Much love.
past. It should not surprise or anger us that there should be granted to the churches religious freedom, that no privilege and no preferential treatment. People sometimes say to me, let the Soviets grant to the churches the same privileges we have, and then we will be friendly to Russia. What value would such privileges be to churches which had not themselves earned them? Would the granting of such privileges endear...
Welcome to Wanky Tuesday. Oh no. Oh no. Oh.
the churches to the Russian people? Would worldwide religion benefit by a series of
Look,
such
she knows what she's doing, right? This isn't... Oh, God.
privileges being granted within Russia because of pressure from without? Isn't this just another polite form of international blackmail? Yeah, I mean, he's right. Religious Americans must learn the same lessons of patience which Russian Christians have had to learn. Russian Christians today know that the real clue of the future lies in terms of patience and faithful service. They know that when such privileges come, as someday will come, it will be...
Don't say come repeatedly. Don't. Come on now.
Because the people at large recognize that they have been deserved. I have noticed in the religious press in recent months a considerable number of articles...
She's Tankie shoe on head. Oh, God. Oh.
grudgingly admitting that there has been a change for the better within Russia between the state and the churches. They go on to state that
she's got a TikTok. Oh no. Oh God, are we just deep diving this woman now? Not like that.
Vintage fashion.
Vintage fashion, radical values. Okay. This usually links. Oh, she does have a TikTok. Oh no. Is it just going to be more fucking ASMR? Oh, she doesn't always wear a headscarf. She puts on the headscarf seemingly to film, but she doesn't have one in that video. Hire me to improve.
Hey you! Yeah, you! Are you tired of the Soviets always being depicted as drab, evil villains?
Oh yes.
Me too, comrade. Sick of the same old Cold War narratives? Ugh, I'd hate the Americans too. Oh, perfect! We're past McCarthyism, right? Oof, that's problematic. Well, you're in luck. Hi, I'm Lady Izdihar, an independent historical researcher on the Soviet Union who focuses on the
How are you... Hang on. How are you independent? How... hang on. Don't start with me. You have pictures of Lenin and Stalin on your fucking walls. How are you independent? You are clearly a very biased person. And that in of itself isn't necessarily, like, the worst thing in the world. But, like, that's not independent, is it? That's... anyway.
positive and...
If you mean under independent as in unemployed, very possibly, I don't know your situation. But just because an institution isn't, like, financially backing you doesn't make you independent.
Human portrayal of the Soviet people. Because guess what? They were people too. Hire me for consulting on your movie, TV show, book, video game, or other. What did the Soviets wear? Well, that depends on the era. You got a whole 70-odd years to pick from. And it certainly wasn't drab and colorless.
Does she... hang on. Does she own this piece of clothing? Because she stood right next to it. Now, she could just be in a museum or some shit. Who knows? But she is physically stood next to that. Does she have... Is this like a Tankie kink dungeon situation? She gets people to dress up as KGB officers and stuff. It's honestly, I'm about to fucking cringe to death.
Colorless. You at least got the red right. Right? the largest country in the world at its time, with over 100 unique people groups and languages. Surely you want accurate depiction of its diversity, don't you? It wasn't all white East Slavs, you know. Cult of personality? Idol worship? Hive mind? Or rather, the building of the very first socialist state, which requires discipline in creating something new for the very first time, and respect for its history. The youth understand the evils of capitalism these days. Appeal to them by showing a nuanced reality we can be inspired by. Contact me now, you won't regret it. Hey you! Yeah, you!
She's not doing much for the I'm not a LARPer bit, is she? Historically accurate. What would I wear to? Sino-Soviet sleigh. Oh, Jesus Christ, end me. What am I watching? What fucking gold mine of shite have I just been let into? Sino-Soviet sleigh. My brain hurts. My brain hurts. Oh, make it fucking end. Why couldn't I have just watched Rishi Sunak talk shit for an hour? Why couldn't I have just done that? Fucking kill me. Oh, it is. It's just kink. They're just doing kink. It literally is just a Tradwife, fucking Stalinoid kink thing. That's all it can be. Oh, this is... And yeah, it is a bit racist in all honesty, yeah. Continue without logging in? I'm not fucking logging in. Shut up. What's this? Fuck off. Right. 1930s hostess dress.
Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you.
Oh yeah, famously the 1930s hostesses were incredibly independent people.
I won't do what you're telling me. Those who died are justified for wearing the badge, they're the chosen whites. We justify those that died for wearing the badge, they're the chosen whites. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me.
Honestly, I feel like this might be terms of service. Oh, fucking hell. Oh. Be gay, our life is jollier.
Be gay, said Stalin in 1936. This is an article in the New York Times from January 12, 1936 on Soviet fashion. I just find it interesting that the very first sentence is a quote from Stalin saying, "Be gay, our life is jollier and merrier today, and it is due to your efforts, our heroes of labor." Of course, gay had a different meaning and connotation. Amusing.
Exactly, he was literally imprisoning homosexuals. Yeah. Whilst himself enjoying a bit of arse. Didn't you know? He was a bisexualist. One of the bad ones. Stalin isn't hot, question mark. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's just kink.
You may have seen photos from this era and more. Interestingly, I've talked about this a few times because one of the biggest critiques for whatever reason that communist leaders in photography get quite often is their photos are super edited, especially Stalin. He wasn't that hot. Like, people are so offended when people call him attractive, and they claim, well, his photographs were altered and edited. He was way uglier. Yeah, everyone's photographs were edited and have been altered for years and years. Since photography began, they had tricks for that. but you never hear the same kind of
Is the volume... Hang on.
rhetoric when it comes to Hollywood stars, like this person mentioned. Please watch the video. They go more into detail about how images were altered back in the day. But I think it's really important to call out and notice like this sort of hypocrisy. Only certain people and those living under certain ideologies get critiqued for silly things like editing.
So, okay, so Stalin makes you wet. Awesome. Good for you. Vintage fashion, radical values, YouTube.
But beyond the headwear, a lot of the clothing was very similar to what you would have seen in the United States, just less flashy, less expensive. And comparing like fashion magazines and catalogs at the time, it's really not as dull or bland or less in variety as people might make it out to be.
Is next day there? Very nice. Is next evening there? Very nice.
Having no choice is no fun. That's why at Wendy's, every hamburger isn't dressed the same.
Yeah, that's just crazy racist. What the fuck, man? America, you're fucking whack. A Soviet romance.
Comrades, in honor of Valentine's Day, I give you this Soviet art piece from 1924.
Notice it's from 1924, before Stalin had begun the desexualization of Soviet art.
It reads, "I'm not your girl anymore. Now I belong to Senya. He took me to the Soviet to hear the words of Lenin."
It's pretty inspirational, honestly. Comrades.
You sound fucking mental. I'm sorry, you sound so mad. Oh, it's inspirational. I mean, look, I don't usually kink shame. I don't kink shame that much. But just saying. Twitch is now showing ads to subscribe. Really? I'm gonna have to fuck. Oh. I don't know what to do. Magical, I'm so sorry. That shouldn't be happening. Fuck's sake, man. What's the point in them fucking subscribing Twitch if they're still gonna get fucking adverts, you dopey bastard? Apologies. If I could switch them off, I would. Well, if I could switch them off and still get fucking paid.
In honor of Valentine's Day, I give you this Soviet art piece from 1924.
Oh, you already did that. Okay, go away. Shut up. Oh god, there's so much, and I don't want to just go through them all because we've still got to get through her fucking video. To be fair, I think she wears her headscarf in most of these. Fashion rant.
Lately I've been struggling with something that I hate feeling weird about, and that's talking about my love for vintage fashion. It seems like every time that I post anything regarding being inspired by the fashions of the past, naturally as a historian around those images all the time, I, one, get weird feelings within myself, perhaps some form of internalized misogyny.
Oh god, she's woke. She's woke. The tankies are gonna eat her up. Oh my god.
I grew up a very, like, masculine woman. Stereotypes, right? Just all of my interests have always been male-dominated. I didn't care about fashion, makeup, any of that.
No wonder you became a tanker, yeah. Tankie, like I said at the start, jokingly, but it's a certain truth to it. It is a bit of a sausage fest.
Until maybe 6 or 7 years ago, I spent most of my life being physically undesirable by most people. And so my interest in dressing a certain way and presenting a certain way is something I'm still kind of getting used to in regards to my own perception of self and others' perception.
For instance, I feel really weird and guilty when talking about vintage fashion, even if it's Soviet fashion in relation to what I study and teach, because I feel like, oh, that's what they expect of me. I'm a woman. It wouldn't be the first time that I told someone I'm a historian and they're like, oh, so like a fashion historian? And I feel insulted. I shouldn't feel insulted. There's nothing wrong with fashion historians. I just don't like that assumption. I feel like when I put out anything regarding fashion or beauty, I'm just doing what society expects me to do as a lady. And then on the other side of this, the reactions I get are kind of mixed. I get way more misogyny when I do post about aesthetic things. Just yesterday I posted a picture of myself on Twitter that I thought was cute. Half of the hate was because I was wearing a 80-year-old fur scarf, but the other half were people like claiming that I am what's wrong with the Marxist community of today because I'm lowering it all down to aesthetics. And lots of weird shit that men wearing a fur ushanka would not have received. But all of this has just made me feel weird. I can't get over this strange like lump in my throat and fizzling in my chest where I want to talk about like the way that I dress and my style and how I view it often as a form of living history. For instance, I collect a lot of Soviet pins. Some of them are there. And though I'm not wearing them.
You're a collector. You're just a collector. You're not living anything. You just like the aesthetic, which is the problem. I mean, ironically, that is the problem with tankies, is they're far more about aesthetic than actually making any political difference. Now, I don't know enough about this person's background to know whether they actually do anything in the real world with it or whatever. But a lot of the, like she said, men wearing fur ushanka, that's a, or technically ushanki because it's plural, isn't it? Anyway, you wouldn't get that criticism because so many of them do wear that shit. Jason Unruh LARPing as a fucking Chinese prison camp guard or whatever the fuck thing he's got going on. Fucking Mao core shit, right? It's not unusual in tanky communities, and that's the problem. Or at least part of the problem. Again, if you're making a real world difference whilst dressed like that or whatever, fine. But ironically, it gets in the way of you being able to, because people have preconceived notions, as you've already admitted to.
One right now, I usually put one on and it's like, oh, it's for this occasion and people would have worn this for this. I feel closer to the history that way. Same with how I dress and present myself. It just feels right. It embodies what I do and what I love about the past. But it's perceived so differently.
I would argue that Haz does even weirder LARPing, because he's got literal swords behind him. Like, he might as well have the word LARPing twat on his fucking forehead, you know?
By others. Even my own brain perceives it in a complicated way. I don't know if any of you have any advice on how to get over this fear of reactions?
Stop being a LARPer? I don't know. Don't care. Communist roots of the Ren Fair. Modern day censorship. It's time to stand against genocide. Is there anything else interesting here? Anti-communism ruined US public transportation. To be fair, anti-communism ruined a lot of shit in America. No, I don't know. A lot of these seem to have been either deleted or privated or something. Yeah, no, she's a LARPerina. Anyway, yeah, let's. Oh my god, we're like a fucking lasagna of distraction tonight. I was like, let's get back to the main video we were watching. No, we still got the rest of this.
These changes have been forced upon the communists by the war. This is a typical religious canard. Do you know how to say this word?
Canard.
Please let me know. The truth, insofar as I can get at it, is quite the contrary.
See, this is what I mean about her, like, infantilizing herself in this video. If she'd wanted to know how to pronounce canard, it's pronounced canard, and that's fine. If English isn't your first language, that's not a problem. I'm not criticising that. But if she'd wanted to know how to pronounce canard, she's got the internet. Just type in, how do you pronounce canard? And it will come up on the Google Speaky Speak thing that they fucking do now. You know? Like, she could have just looked that up. But she wanted to be like, I don't know. I don't know what that is. Maybe you, the big, strong, clever man, can tell me what that is. I don't even know. You know. Canard. Is that not a French... Well, I presume it must come from French. It ends in ard. But it means like a lie or a falsehood of some nature.
Soviet government has in no way altered its basic policy toward religion since the...
Well, she's not even in the 50s. She's in 1943. Of course there's no internet. You're absolutely right. You know what? She is living history. True.
War began. This, in my opinion, is to its credit. It might very easily have thrown a few sops to foreign public opinion. This, it has refused...
Oh, canard means duck in French, does it? Oh, okay. No, well, there's canard in English, which doesn't mean duck. Unless I'm about to find out it does also mean duck. That's canard. How have I managed to fucking put an M there? Canard, an unfounded rumour or story. Or a small wing-like projection attached to an aircraft. Okay, I didn't know that one. Canard in France. At any rate, the expression led to the use of the word canard, the French word for duck, which with the meaning of hoax or a fabrication. Oh, so it does come from that. English speakers adopted this canard in the mid-1800s. Wow, we've all fucking learned something there. There clearly was like a thing around that time of birds being seen as like deceptive or something. Because literally, you know the term cockney, meaning someone from London, literally comes from the phrase cock's egg, as in an egg from a male bird, something that ought not be trusted. Which, by the way, sick burn on Londoners. But, yeah, there's clearly a thing about birds being, like, deceptive. Like in a lot of East Asian countries, you have, like, monkeys are seen as deceptive, or, like, you know, primates are seen as deceptive. Birds aren't real. Absolutely true.
Is to do because it believes in the essential rightness of its basic religious policy. What has happened since the outbreak of the war is that religious Russians, Christians, Jewish, Mohammedan, oh yeah, there's so many Muslims there just like me, have all thrown their wholehearted support behind the Soviet government and have backed up the civilian defense program, assisted in the war bond drives, and contributed generously in the war relief campaigns. This identification of the life of religion with the life of the people has been having a natural and wholesome response. Such results indicate the real solution to the issue of church and state everywhere. Huh.
Maybe that's what ACAB means. All canards are birds. True.
I wonder what he means by that. I think he'll let us know, right? There's only like a paragraph left. Oh, I'm sorry, my posture is so bad. I'm gonna go grab something to drink.
Oh, she's got a cat. Ah, I just noticed cat. The cat... I didn't know what that was. I thought it was a cushion. And then the cut... Look, hang on, go back. Hang on, right. Look, it's just... That's a cushion. That's just a fucking cushion. Look at the cushion.
All right. There's only like a paragraph left.
And then the cut happens. And then there's a cat licking itself.
My posture is so bad. I'm gonna go grab something to drink. Sorry, I really needed some coffee. I hope you understand. Let's see, where were we? As an American churchman, I do not ask for religion any special privilege, only the opportunity for religion to make its contribution and to win such respect as it deserves. I am convinced that this opportunity is given in the Soviet Union. If American men and women of religious faith...
You say that the old cushion disguise is good, but it just means they're going to get sat on. Rory Katz used to do this. He was very good at disguising himself as a step on my stairs, which means I'd end up fucking either treading on him or realising slightly too late and having to dodge out the way, thus endangering my own life of falling down the stairs and breaking my fucking neck. Little prick.
faith desire to make some contribution to the strengthening of religion in Russia, let them do it by avoiding old prejudices and antagonisms, and by showing some measure of understanding and sympathy for the real moral and social advances which the Russians have made under the Soviet regime, especially in respect to the elimination of economic exploitation and
I trod on that little prick so many times. He used to lie on you know, what's it called? Is it lintel? I forget. The bit that the divider between rooms that's like the foot of a door. He used to lie on that, which is like the obvious bit you're going to step on. And if he does it in a dark room, that means I can't see him, and he's lying where he knows I'm going to step. I tread on that little prick loads of times. Never hurt him or anything, because I'm not a fucking, hippo. But, yeah. Is his name Commissar Whiskerlin? Is that actually true? That'd be amazing.
Establishment of genuine equality for the many racial, cultural, and religious minorities in the Soviet Union. I mean, I can't disagree with that. We of the churches can find much in the Soviet life that is an extension in concrete terms of principles to which we have been giving our lip service. There is between our two countries the basis for a mutual respect and a creative friendship. The Russians have something to give us. We have something to give them. In the years ahead, we shall look back with...
Oh yeah, Rory Kurtz used to do that. He used to love walking right in front of me. Especially when I was carrying hot drinks and stuff. Little fuck.
Gratitude that we had the vision to build the foundations of a friendship which has benefited both our lands. And then it says, text of a speech made at the public meeting at Carnegie Hall, New York, called by National Council of American Soviet Friendship to protest against anti-Soviet propaganda. I wish I could have been there. Wow, what do you think of that article? There's so many more. Do you want me to read?
I thought it was shit.
You any more?
No, I fucking don't. Question to consider from today's reading. Fuck off. Oh, don't get in the way of the cat.
All right. Oh, that's not high enough, is it? There we go. You're on my TV. Oh, I hope this isn't too scratchy. There's not a lot of places to...
She's now just in the way of the cat. It's outrageous.
Put this... Alright, if it makes some sounds, don't be too much of a jerk about it in the comments. Okay, and obviously, end scene. This is my little attempt at some roleplay LARP because, my apartment is decorated a certain way, and I just love the concept and idea of living that life as a sympathetic American in the 1940s who was subscribed to magazines like Soviet Russia Today. Like, the kind of person that would receive...
The kind of person who got fucked on for the next 20 years and made themselves unemployable.
This.
Those that got McCarthy'd.
Come home and just be excited to read the articles, to hear this sort of perspective on the war and the new advancements in the Soviet Union and what's happening in
this is just weird LARP, I don't care.
Of communists in general, who we are, what we look like, where we have been.
Anyway, so that's like I said, that was just kink. That was just fucking kink cosplay bit thing for tankoids. Amazing.
Humanizing history and incorporating elements like aesthetics is integral to teaching.
1 second. What is it, Maria? It is 1943. The television will not be invented for another 4 years. The television was invented before then, wasn't it? Hang on a minute. I thought the television was invented like the fucking 20s or some shit. Television, etymology, history. Facsimile transmission systems of still photographic pioneer. I don't care about that. Where's Logie Baird? Don't fuck around. By the 1920s, when amplification made television practical, Scottish inventor John Logie Baird employed the Nipkow disc in his prototype vision systems. 1925. Yeah, 1925. It says 1925 here. In 1928, WRGB was started as the world's first television station. So yeah, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Maria, why did you distract me with incorrect information? Okay, never mind, but when was it available for consumer product? I don't fucking know. Also, you know, she's just LARPing. She's not actually doing like a real thing there.
The full picture. When history is reduced to dry recitations of theory, we miss out on the vibrant, multifaceted reality of those past societies. Fashion history, social history, living history, they're often very devalued, yet they play a crucial role in understanding the human experience. Me doing my makeup in a historically accurate manner with historically accurate products may seem silly and frivolous, but it's something someone did every day in the past. There's a connection there. We need to question why.
I mean, don't get me wrong, if this is something you enjoy, that's fine. I've got no problem with that. But, like, I also sort of don't, like, this doesn't make you connected to that historical person, really. You know? I think it's a load of shit myself. I second them. What did they say? Please watch the unhinged review of Emma Goldman's book by the Finnish Bolshevik. Well, I won't be doing that tonight, and you'll have to tell me which of the books so that I can read the book. Otherwise, I won't be able to give you any, like, you know, I won't be able to tell you if it is unhinged or not if I haven't read her book. So tell me the book, link me the video, and I'll see for another time.
We see these things as lesser. I think some of it does have to do with misogyny. Some of it is ego, wanting to appeal.
Don't say misogyny, honestly. The Tankies you've just got the Tankies hard with that previous video. They're going to instantly lose their flop if you say misogyny. Okay? You have to pretend they're not misogynists, please.
You're more professional. I'll get to that. But I think a lot of the reason why we view dressing up and reenacting as something childish or less legitimate, probably because we associate.
Yeah, if you wanted to, Kafka, that would be interesting, because I've watched his Hungarian series and it was okay, albeit obviously skewed. So if you wanted to go through it and pick it apart, that would be fucking awesome. Who wants Kev to stop this kink and move on to Soviet storm porn, please?
Get a lot of that with negative stereotypes of women.
No, we're making progress, guys, honest. We're making progress. We've only been going an hour and 40 minutes and we are 5 minutes into this fucking half an hour long video.
That's a bigger discussion in itself. I'm not...
Even by my standards, this is bad. Oh, she's got a fucking Stalin thing.
Saying you need a framed portrait of Stalin at your 1940s vanity, but it does make things more fun. It sparks my creativity and passion. It's a little bit whimsical too. Forgive me for having joy.
It's whimsical. Yeah, who doesn't find whimsy in having framed photographs of genocidal lunatics? Whimsical. If there is one phrase, if there's one word in the English language one would not associate with Stalin, even for those who like him, I think, would be whimsy. I don't think that word really applies to him. Even his greatest admirers, I don't think, would describe him as a whimsical character. Surely.
Living history is an interactive method of historical interpretation, one where individuals might dress in period-appropriate clothing, adapt a lifestyle, behaviors, activities.
There are some great... I've already watched, not necessarily on the stream, but I've watched some history, fashion, video stuff. There's, oh, I forgot her name. Oh, that's so annoying. Anyway, and she does all the kind of dressing up, LARPy, historical shit. But she doesn't try and pass it off as part of, like, activism. She just does the thing, right? I'll have to dig it out at some point. But she's a really good historical video essayist person, who does like the period authentic dress type stuff, and she's done videos about historical fashion and stuff, and it's really good. It's really interesting. Again, from a historical perspective, it's not activism. It's not anything. It's just a thing that she enjoys doing that adds a colour to the video. Yeah.
Of that specific historical era or event, and it's a common and legitimate method used in museums, historical sites, and reenactment events. It enhances your learning by engaging all of your senses. It fosters empathy and a deeper connection for the people who lived before you through those times, allowing us to understand their challenges and achievements. This outfit's a little inspired by Alexandra Kollontai. This picture, I need to get a matching hat for this coat. I'm really inspired by the brave communists that came before me.
It is I suppose that's a fair point, Marcel, actually, yeah.
Who risked it all in revolution, war, strikes,
No, not
the
Marcel.
successful ones and the ones that weren't.
Lord Fritus, I just mixed you up with Marcel Paul, I apologise. Not all French people are alike. I can tell you apart, honest.
Bravely fighting off Nazi invaders. Emulating them in small ways satisfies something deep and meaningful inside me. It's a constant reminder of the bigger picture and what we're fighting for. Does that make...
What about the bit when they were friends with the Nazis? Does that inspire you in the same way? Okay.
Make me a bad communist? I prefer to teach in a way that showcases humanizing stories, little-known facts, and visuals that are often misunderstood.
Yeah, see, someone said earlier when I said, was she in a museum or not? I don't know if she was in a museum, because she's got the fucking hat. She's got the hat. She definitely does like communist sex, right? There's no doubt. There's no doubt she's fucking in some sort of weird LARPy way. Which, again, absolutely fine. Not a problem, but...
Okay, so I was actually...
No, not that one. Although, I have watched a couple of her videos, but no, that was not the person I was referring to. But anyway. But yeah, you should go and follow that person as well.
Misrepresented in the English retelling of those stories, the nitpicking and selectiveness. We must combat that dehumanization and gross caricaturization of the history. We can take back that power in presenting that past more vibrantly. As communists and Marxists, it's important not to get caught up in rigid expectations.
I'm only joking. I don't think she necessarily does reverse Moscow girl. Stop now. I know she collects vintage clothes. I'm only fucking playing. I think I've got some weird communist shit somewhere. I think I have. I don't know where, but I think I've got like some pins or something somewhere that I collected when I was a young idiot. Probably just in a box in the attic now. They'll still get me put in a cat. She's got like the oh my god. She's got like the Mohawk Lincoln, but as a silver Lenin bit.
Of what we should be. We should resist the pressure to conform to standards set by traditional academia. History doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be men in suits reading theory monotonously. Education can and should take many forms, reflecting the diverse ways people learn and engage with information. Why are we living by a standard, a system that we know is wrong and corrupt? We talk about the flaws in it.
Maria, God bless you for looking that information up, but did you think that Marxist-Leninist LARPerino who pretends to understand history was going to have a historically accurate idea of who would own a television or not in the 1940s America? I assumed she'd got loads of shit wrong with the history. I took that as granted at the fucking start of at the very clicking of the word play. I understood that. Surely.
All the time, yet conform to it completely? Make it make sense. So yeah, ironically, while I received comments...
Interesting that you would literally be a Stalinist and then argue that people ought not conform. It's probably a good idea that you're not from 1943.
about my LARPing and cosplaying. Many of us engage in a performance.
Because in 1940, he had an ice pick put through someone's fucking head for not conforming. Don't get me wrong, not a fan of Mr. Trotsky either. Also not his name. None of them had their real names. That's not really true. There's only really 3 of them that didn't, but you get the idea.
Performance of our own. We try to fit into this mold of what we think a serious academic, historian, or communist looks like. Serious, stern, devoid of artistic expression. This is a form of performance in itself, rooted in traditional expectations.
No, that's not her either. You can continue to guess the historical person I'm thinking of, the YouTuber, but you're just wrong. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Just
This morning I had a really big and serious conversation with one of my best friends, Susan. Please follow her on TikTok and YouTube. She talks about China. She's in China right now. She's fantastic. There's this much bigger...
Oh wow, there's a China LARPerino from America as well. Awesome.
Bigger issue in society right now. I think there's a lot to be said about how younger and newer generations are losing the ability to express themselves or to have unique thoughts and opinions.
Look, ContraPoints doesn't really do historical dress. She does like cyberpunk from her own perspective.
And how we're not gaining
God
the
bless her,
skills
but
to
like,
present or find ourselves, or are terrified of risky perspectives. We can't healthily disagree with each other online in any sort of productive way. Everything is an offense worth attack. Always concerned about what...
You're a Stalinist! Honestly, this is gonna break my fucking brain. You're a Stalinoid going on about we need to respectfully disagree with one another. Motherfucker, you've got a fucking framed photograph that you see as whimsical of a guy who gulagged people for disagreeing at all. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Maybe a whole Justice League of Soviet LARP Tradwives. Maybe, yeah. Look, Rule 34. There's if there's a kink, there are people prepared to fulfill that, role. And you know what? I hope she's getting her bag. I hope she's getting paid.
Other people think.
Because I don't think people are going to employ her to be a fucking historian.
Fear of being cancelled or made fun of, or the accusations that come with it. I actually think a lot of this stems from the growth of use in like AI and ChatGPT, hang with me here, where people aren't forced to come up with their own ideas, their own perspectives or opinions. Everything becomes kind of broad and soulless, and again, void of risk-taking. We can't talk to each other. We don't talk to each other. People can't relate to even like a unique sense of style, self-expression, or extreme passion and love for things, like the passion of Soviet history and communism.
Again, if gulagging people isn't cancel culture, then nothing is. You want to do the ultimate cancel culture, because like currently cancel culture means someone calling you a racist on Twitter. In Stalinist world, cancel culture is up to and including you being fucking killed. You and your family being murdered, or you being murdered and your family being deported to Kazakhstan and just dropped.
What I do comes off as so far off and strange because we're slowly losing our ability to passionately
Good night, use a nameless entity.
Love something, care for something, connect ourselves to it with our personal reasons and a why. As our world becomes soulless and devoid of like the human spirit, we can't connect or understand one another. And then we project very surface level reasons onto that. They must be cosplaying, this can't be real, no one likes something that much, there must be something mentally wrong with them. We don't have true characters anymore. It's becoming more and more rare to find outgoing people with a presence and a spark, I'm often worried about who's going to be teaching our future generations when no one is learning the skills to present and articulate and connect past ideas and histories to the present and ourselves, critical thinking and such. We aren't reading or listening to each other anymore, and everything keeps being created for entertainment purposes instead of substance, and we are intellectually and socially suffering. I don't know, maybe I sound like a boomer saying all of that, but it's been on my mind. But back to performance.
No, you don't
because
sound
while
like a
we
boomer.
accuse others of performing or...
You don't sound like a boomer. You're literally just tradwifing from 1943. That's totally normal. Totes normal. Yeah.
pretending from this more surface level, like I mentioned, soulless standpoint. In
If this doesn't pick up very soon, we're just going to do Soviet Storm, because this is fucking boring now.
reality, we're all in a performance of our own, even when you don't dress up like me and decorate your house this way.
Performative theory.
I want to talk about Judith Butler's performative theory.
Oh, you just went shit lib. Oh, the tankies are gonna eat you up. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Judith Butler, are you a feminazi?
Her idea states that everything we do is a social performance, whether we are reinforcing or rejecting social expectations. Those who criticize others for not fitting the mold of a serious communist are themselves performing a role that they believe to be natural. They replicate what they subconsciously perceive as the correct way to present themselves. And I want to give some examples of this performative theory. Let's start with appearance and attire. The expected performance by some standards in my comment sections would be that a respectable communist is imagined to wear plain, functional clothing, avoiding anything seen as frivolous or luxurious. Bourgeois, right? And I've talked...
Or the furries being bourgeois, as our friend from the other day popped in to say. Is she a TERF? Is who a TERF? Judith Butler? Absolutely not, no. And I don't know if she is. She's a tankie, so I assume she's probably transphobic. They usually are. But I don't know.
Extensively about how that's not the case and how it's problematic to view communists, especially...
Kev is bourgeois, that is absolutely true. And if you want to help keep me in caviar and the blood of the innocent, you can hit the follow button and subscribe and do bits messages. You can subscribe with Amazon Prime. You can give subs to the community. These are whelps. These are ways you can help me. Fucking Christ almighty. Right. If you're on YouTube, by the way, at some point, possibly in the not too distant future, although it did just get a little bit spicier, so who knows, we're going to be watching Soviet Storm, which, even though it's on YouTube, I can't watch on YouTube because YouTube is shite. So I'll be having to switch off the YouTube stream at that point, and we'll be going over exclusively to Twitch. So if you wanted to, you can head over to KFLogan1875. No, hang on. Twitch.tv/KFLogan1875. God, I'm good at this. I'm so slick, honestly.
Like of the Soviet Union as bland, only wearing gray, whatever. But that's not the point. The reality of this performance is that this austerity visually communicates ideological purity, but it's very limiting and exclusionary. There's been communists all over the world from many different cultures with many different ideas and sense of style. We simply can't say communists can only dress one way, especially if that one way isn't accessible to the working man. Then there's language and demeanor. The expected performance would be that a respectable communist speaks in a serious, authoritative manner, talking in...
Oh yeah, no, caviar was like a much more staple food in the Eastern Bloc during that time. Yeah, I know. But just like, it's seen as like a rich people food here and now, you know.
Theoretics and often complex language.
And I was only joking. I've never eaten caviar. I have no idea what it even tastes like. That's how working class scum I am.
But this intellectual...
I've had champagne exactly once, and I would never have it again. It tastes like poop, and not in a good way.
rigor can alienate newcomers or those who prefer a more accessible communication style. It's one of my biggest gripes with traditional academia, is this idea to talk and make things complex solely for the purpose of being taken seriously. It's not actually helping anyone understand anything or learn anything better. You're not really explaining it to the common man who needs to know these things. It's all ego-driven. It's I want to appear important and academic, so I'm going to complicate it for literally no reason other than other people might respect me more. It's ridiculous. And as I mentioned, inaccessible. It makes me angry. Then there's lifestyle choices. The expected performance here would be that a true revolutionary should lead a life of modesty and self-sacrifice, rejecting modern conveniences. But this lifestyle performance, while it embodies socialist values, it creates unrealistic standards. There's public activism. One should be visibly and actively engaged in protests and direct action.
Yeah, there is definitely an element of that, like trying to win people over to your cause by saying you should also be a socialist and live a shit life. Like, that's... I'm not sure you're going to win many people to your cause with that. I don't know.
But then this undervalues behind-the-scenes contributions like research and community support.
Like, socialism is not a fucking poverty cult. It's not some austerity fucking LARP fest. Stop it. You're not making socialism better, you're just making your life worse.
Culturally, a respectable communist should embrace only politically conscious art. Insufferable, I know. Politically conscious music and literature. But this cultural performance creates a narrow view of acceptable behavior in the movement. And we all know...
Oh, we've just had the greatest phrase. I once ate raw mussels out of a brackish swamp because my friend told me to. Firstly, your friend is not a good friend. Or they're your best friend and they just wanted to see you shit yourself or something. But also, brackish, which for those who don't know is a mixture of salt and fresh water. It's the crossover point between the two. You don't get brackish in chat very often.
Know that we need escapism. It's okay. Read your fan fiction. I'll throw in one more. Emotional expression.
Read your fan fiction? We just watched you do fan fiction. I don't even know how this word's pronounced. Ooh.
The respectable communist is stoic, unyielding, maybe showing little emotion. A real leader there. But this performance disregards the need for emotional expression and connection. Being emotional and passionate does not make you a bad leader or a worse communist. It shows you care.
This is really boring. I'm sorry, this is actually just fucking boring. I apologise. This is just boring, mate. She's not even wrong about that point. I just can't take anymore. It was funny when she was doing her weird fucking LARPerino bit, but this is rubbish. We're going to go and do Soviet Storm. I apologise, everybody. On the YouTubes who wanted to watch the rest of that. You still can, it's available on the internet, but yeah. Yeah, anyway. So, if you're on YouTube, you have to switch over now if you want to follow the rest of me watching some fucking Soviet history shit over on twitch.tv/KFLogan1875. I will give you a whole 30 seconds from now to switch over and go and do to go over to the Twitch machines, which will also give me the time to go to restream and switch off the YouTube stream. Yeah. Facts. Factorinos. We're going to be watching the Soviet Storm. This episode is on the Battle for the Caucasus, which is the mountain range after which white people are named for some fucking reason. Anyway, thank you everybody for listening and watching on YouTube. I suppose I could raid you into somebody, but no, I'm not going to bother. Fuck it. Come and say hello on Twitch.